Victoria Pleasure Grounds for this Betfred Championship Round 12 clash between the Goole Vikings and the big spending London Broncos. You're watching Vikings TV, brought to you by Lounges TV and our club partners Northern Retrofit. Your commentary team for this afternoon is James Clarke and Goole Vikings star former Challenge Cup winner Liam Watts, who will get a few words from in just a moment's time. He'd like to be down here playing, I would have thought, but we get the joys of having him here in the commentary box this afternoon with both teams set to enter the field as the London Broncos, after the long trip up north this morning, head out in their all-white kit, soon to be followed by the Goole Vikings, lining up today for London Broncos, a very experienced team. A lot of money has been spent on this squad as they strive for Super League, and some start to the year they've had 9 matches and 9 victories, and there's some talent on show here for the locals to enjoy, none more so than star forward Regan Campbell-Gillard. They line up with Morea at fullback, the PNG international, who's been in fine form this year with 12 tries to his name already. A familiar face in this part of the world, Neil Tchombe, who spent some time on loan with the Vikings last year, is on one of the wings with Liam Tyndall, former Leeds Rhino and Hull FC man, on the opposite flank. Elliot Wallace, also coming from a little bit further up the M62 in Hull, former Hull KR man, he's in the centres alongside Ted Davidson, who makes just his second appearance of the season. Another familiar face for the PNG supporters watching here this afternoon, Gyro Vora playing at half back alongside the experienced Dean Hawkins, who's played the majority of his career in the reserve grade in Australia. Talking of Australians, Campbell-Gillard lines up in the front row, a state of origin and former Australian international, playing at the Victoria Pleasure Grounds for the first time this afternoon. He's joined in the front row by Amali Bishikane, and Sam Davis starts in number 9. Aussie Luke Smith in the back row with Ben Hussey Horde, and former Tonga international Silva Havili is lining up at 13. On the bench for London, Jimmy Meadows, Marcus Stock, Epol Capinias and Connor O'Byrne, who actually made his debut against the Vikings in the Challenge Cup at the start of last year. Lining up for Hull FC this afternoon, 4 debutants will play today. 3 loanees from Hull FC, with Joe Phillips returning to the Vikings. Lloyd Kemp, who's about to get us underway here with his right boot at fullback. Across the back line, we've got Connor Barley and Cooper Howlett at centre, with Maka Harmon moving to an unfamiliar role in the 3-quarter line. Harvey Horn on loan from Hull KR starts on the wing. The half-back pairing is Callum Kemp, should I say, the twin brother of Lloyd Kemp, not to be mistaken here this afternoon, with Jack Miller, the experienced half-back, returning to the team. Jack Arnold is in the front row alongside former York City Knights man Tyler Craig. Will Jubb, again another former York player, at 9. A back row of captain Brett Ferris and Nick Staveley, and completing the lineup this afternoon is Jalen Hodgson, starting in the 13 role. So we'll bring Liam in alongside us for this commentary as Campbell-Gillard carries that ball in for the Broncos. This is a huge test, Liam. Just try and put it in context for us. When you look at the quality and the calibre of players like Havili there carrying that ball in, and Campbell-Gillard coming up against a few of these youngsters here at the Vikings, just try and do us justice to explain that gulf in class here today.
Yeah, well, these have obviously, they thought they were going to get in Super League, so they've signed an outfit to compete in Super League. So these are full-time athletes that are playing against part-time athletes. So we'll see what sort of performance we can put in today against a good London side.
And how much of a difference do you find that makes? Now you've seen both sides of that coin, how much is that step up when you are training full-time?
Yeah, massively. Obviously, you're training and you're playing 5-6 days a week, which is massive for your fitness, your strength and all that sort of stuff. So looking at a couple of these players, they physically look in great shape. So I'm sure it'll be a good watch today. First time I've seen them personally play today, so I'm looking forward to it.
Well, it's going to be first opportunity here for the Broncos. Jack Arnold with the knock-on whilst Liam was speaking there. It was a decent little
looks like he's got a whack in the ribs on here.
It does. He was desperate to juggle hold of that ball, and a couple of lads came in and just caught him underneath. And a light bench today for the Vikings as well, with the likes of yourself missing out this afternoon. So this will be the last thing that head coach Scott Taylor needs in the early few minutes of this match here at the Pleasure Grounds.
Yeah, definitely Clarke. Yeah.
Broncos coming into this match, as we say, in fine form, 9 wins from 9, albeit they very nearly came up with their first defeat last time out against Doncaster. Doncaster actually leading by 16 points to 6 going into the final 10 minutes of that match, but it was the Broncos who clung on for a good win in the end by 30 points to 16. I know the Dongs were disappointed with the way that match finished. The Vikings also disappointed, coming off the back of a defeat at Batley. Scott Taylor rung the changes here this afternoon and giving a few more of his squad members the chance to impress. As the Vikings come forward then, sorry to say, the Broncos from the scrum, Brett Ferris and Jack Miller in there making the tackle. Bichigane, PNG international, as Liam says, fit and healthy, strong. You can see that everywhere you look in this Broncos side. Havili to former NRL man Gillard. In the red zone now, the Broncos, and they come hunting. Havili again links everything up at 13. There's Hawkins, former Rabbitohs halfback. His opposite number, Jack Miller, stepping into line to make the tackle as Davis looks to go himself. He scurries to the line. Good goal line defence. Nice scramble from the Vikings. They were open and aware that one might be coming, and they make the tackle. Held up at the line. The referee says Aaron Belafonte, with a strong following of London fans here this afternoon. Credit to them. Made the journey up north to Goole. Plenty on the train as Hawkins feeds the ball in. It's a bad pass, and Connor Barley's intercepted the pass. And as we've seen this year, Connor Barley's got some wheels. He's racing away. Connor. He's got big Neil Tachombe chasing. And Neil Tachombe can't get there. And this will be the first score of the game for Connor Barley. He went the length of the field last weekend against Batley Bulldogs. And he's done exactly the same here. First blood, the Vikings. Didn't see that one coming. But the Vikings have made it count. And he's shown some wheels there. It's Goole Vikings 4, London Broncos 0.
Same as last week, wasn't it? He's got himself in their attacking line, and they've more or less just handed the ball to go 80 metres down the right hand side touchline. So great work there by Connor Barley. I think today our defensive principles are going to try and get up and shut them down, and I thought he did a really good job there, Connor.
Well, when you're playing sides of this quality, who've got used to this yearly and everything going for them, and almost controlling games and almost playing with a bit of freedom, a bit of fun. Sometimes when you get up in the face and force them to make the decisions, as we saw there, Dean Hawkins was caught in no man's land really, and Barley just put himself in the perfect position to intercept that ball. And we all know how fast Neil Tachombe is. He scored plenty of tries in similar fashion.
He went round him pretty easily there, didn't he?
Skipped around him.
Yeah, he did. He didn't seem to land an hand on him, and he just skipped away from him, didn't he? He tried going for the ankle tap, and he just skipped round him. So great work there by Connor.
Similar to Neil, tall lad Connor Barley, deceptively so as well. He's got that long leg stride as well.
Yeah.
As Jack Miller lines this up, strikes it well actually. That looks good.
Yeah,
Flags will go up. Managed to clear it over the fence as well. So it's Goole Vikings 6, London Broncos 0. Just the start that the home side would have wanted. And Scott Taylor will be looking to see a reaction now to see if they can just sort of take a little bit of control. That's one of the things Scott's been saying, hasn't he, over the last couple of weeks, is particularly with his first 20 minutes of matches. He wants to see you control the game on your terms, control the ball. And as you saw last week when you played in the game against Whitehaven, 96% completion rate in the first half, and you're 36-0 up.
Yeah, it's no coincidence when you complete well and you keep the ball, you do less defending, and you score some points. And like I said, we were 36-0 up at half time against Whitehaven. It was a bit scrappier in the second half, and the game was a lot closer. But it's completion rates these days. That's the way that the game goes. If you're completing and you're getting to the end of your sets very well, then you put yourself in a good position to win the game.
Tyler Craig then. And just to put it in context, Tyler Craig's day job is a postman in York, coming up against a former State of Origin Australia international. I mean, it sort of sums up where the game is.
Yeah, that'll be a big day for some of these lads playing against people like that. So there'll be a lot of lads that's never played at this level against some of the calibre players that London's got. So it'll be nice to see how they go today against them.
And a few young kids on show today as well, and a couple that you're familiar with from your time at Hull FC. We'll ask you about one who's just kicking this ball there. Callum Kemp kicks the ball long and high upfield, and it's mopped up well by Maria. But yeah, during your time at Hull last season, you'll have lined up in training and a couple of matches alongside Callum and Lloyd, and obviously Joe Phillips you'll be aware of from playing with the Vikings last year, plus of course Harvey Horn on this near side left wing. It'll be a big day for those lads as well, looking to get some
definitely.
minutes under the belt.
The Kemp twins, I played with them, like I said, last year at FC, and played a couple of games with them. So they're good solid young kids. So they've definitely got age on the side, unlike me, but they're exciting prospects for Hull FC, and obviously it's nice to try and get them some game time down here at the Vikings.
Here come the Broncos once more down this right-hand edge. Jack Miller once again in there with Brett Ferris. You've seen already where Harvey's trying to link everything up in the middle of that park in that 13 role, effectively playing as an extra halfback really in there, as the Broncos come again down that left-hand side with Wallace, former Castleford man. Hull KR2, and Hawkins again involved in everything. One-handed offload inside, but that ball goes to ground. And good effort on effort stuff here from the Vikings. They're really putting it in these early exchanges, playing with plenty of energy and tempo, and the message seems to have been this week, Liam, just go out there and enjoy yourselves. And we've almost seen, haven't we, this year with this Viking side, that perhaps in the matches where I wouldn't say they're expected to win, but perhaps coming up against the League One sides, they almost look a different proposition to the side we've seen enjoy a cup run where the pressure's off and they just go out and play.
Yeah, and I think with the games that we've been down as underdogs, we've certainly played a lot better than, like I said, the games that we're going in as expected to win. So, which is a bit disappointing because obviously they're the games that you need to be winning. They're the teams that you need to be winning games against, but it's pleasing to see that we're picking up a few results in games that we shouldn't be expected to win. So, and today's one of them that we're probably not expected to win, but the lads are just going to go out there and enjoy themselves, and that is exactly what the message was from Taggy in the week. And he said, just go out there and express yourself, and let's give them a tough ride. They've had a long trip up, like I said earlier, so let's try and catch them a bit cold, and I think we've done that in this first probably 10 minutes.
Sam Davis scurrying, but always busy at 9. Packs a punch as well, defensively strong. As the Broncos look to come through that middle third of the field with Hawkins. Nice hands out to Smith on this right edge.
They're really targeting Jack Miller down this side. The back row's gone at him 3 or 4 times now already in this short period.
Oh, there's the dummy. Nice hands from Gillard into Havili. Havili inside to Bichigane. And that was nice football from the Broncos. We mentioned it a couple of times already, how Havili's playing in that loose forward 13-year-old, just connecting everything up. Everything's going through him. Nice soft hands. Lovely deception on the pass. And Bichigane just races away to touchdown next to the post. The Broncos right back in this match with a kick to come. It's the Goole Vikings 6, the Broncos 4.
Yeah, it's just a simple inside play in it that he's put on. Straight on his inside, and then just links up with his Michigani there, and he's gone underneath the sticks.
Simple stuff in the end, and a lot to like about Havili's game. He's been playing in the NRL for a long, long time. With the Rabbitohs, of course. Tonga was part of that Tongan side that went to the semi-finals a couple of years ago in the World Cup. And he reminds me a lot of, again, another player you'll have played with at Hull that we know is instrumental in John Asiata to the Black and Whites. A guy you know well. He's got that similar frame and plays in a similar way.
Yeah, definitely. I've watched him for quite a few years in the NRL. I didn't expect to be seeing him playing here today, did you?
It's a bit different.
Yeah, I think he still could have probably been in the NRL. So it's definitely a good coup for London and their Super League prospects.
As Big Neil Tachombe, we know Wells down here just in front of us, as the kick is good from Hawkins, 6-all on the scoreboard. A change of shirt, I think, down here for Neil Tachombe. A bit of blood coming out the lip here, as we can see. I was actually chatting to the Broncos head of performance before the game, who's handling all the kit, and he was bemoaning how white the kit is and how hard it is to keep clean. Well, that one's going to have a bit of trouble trying to clean that one up. Bit of strapping on Neil's shoulder there, as we just await things to get back underway. And it's interesting what you're saying, Liam. It's something I've reflected on this week, actually, a little bit with regards to the Vikings. Little old Goole coming up against big old London, but it's remarkable sometimes when you stop and think that, you know, we are sat here doing a live broadcast around the world with former Challenge Cup winner Liam Watts, watching people like Campbell Gillard on the field. Yeah, it's on a park in Goole.
It's a crazy world that we live in now these days, Clarke, and the technology that we've got to be able to bring this to people that's on the other side of the world. So it's great to give them an opportunity to see what Goole's all about.
Good to know we've got a lot of London fans tuning in as well who have been unable to make the journey up, so we appreciate your company here on Vikings TV. It is the Vikings versus the Broncos, with thanks to our club partners Northern Retrofit, as the Broncos come again. And this will be the first test of the Vikings now, where they'll need to try and control the ruck speed a little bit, avoid those penalties, and just see if they can stay in the arm wrestle against a side that we tried to say earlier. Just put it in context, you're talking one side with a wage bill 10 times bigger than that of their opposition here. That's the huge gulf you've got between these sides, and that's why you can see this Vikings team really trying to front up and show what they're about. As Hawkins scoops up that ball. Nice break from Davis up the middle of the park. Broncos looking for a penalty there. They're not going to get one. Havili at 9 moves it to Bichigane. They're going to move it out line, and it's a good tackle coming in there, and Voro in the line as the Broncos come hunting again. We're on the last. Oh, we were on the last, but the referee gives 6 again, so the pressure will mount now for the home side. Smith, who's actually looked impressive in his first 7 appearances for the Broncos this year. He's put some tireless performances in that right back row spot. Havili again into the line, doesn't know where he's going this time, so Arnold will stand up and make the tackle. Broncos with a chance. They can sniff blood at 6-all. Away to our right-hand side at the railway end. They move it down the line with Voro. Voro with a little short pass into the line. Hussey Horde just crashing onto that one, but the defence is up to it. The Kemp twins in there as they come once more. Campbell-Gillard out the back to Hawkins. Hawkins down the line. It's Maria, and he's dynamite from close range. He's got speed, good footwork. Defence is up to it. The standing firm as Campbell-Gillard will cruise in. There's nobody there. And, well, that's, to be honest, Liam, that's all too easy, really, from there.
Yeah, it's disappointing. The line just didn't compress up there tight enough there. I think Jubby jumped out too early, and Jack Arnold didn't close the gap. So it's a disappointing try to concede there after minimal effect from the London Broncos.
Well, we're just inside the first 15 minutes, first quarter hour of this match. And the Broncos take the lead for the first time at 10-6. And the noticeable thing there, Liam, and again, I don't want to keep going on about the golfing class here, but one thing that is noticeable there, when you've got Matt Davis, who's experienced, he's played in Super League with the Broncos, when he's rolling teams and carrying the ball and they've got that speed, the sort of tempo in which the Broncos are coming at you, it's really difficult to defend against.
Yeah, definitely. I've played against him, and he's a threat coming out of 9. He's a front foot player, so any quick play of the ball is just going to be taking off and coming straight down the middle at you. So that's what he's done in the last couple of sets. He's getting a late offload or a quick play of the ball, and he's just really taking up the middle to us. And on the back of that, he's just jumped out at 9, attracted a bit of attention, and just simply tipped the ball onto Regan Campbell-Gillard, and he's more or less just gone in untouched, which is a bit disappointing. Nobody got an hand on him, so we need to be a bit stiffer on his defensive line, and if not, it's going to be a long afternoon.
Hawkins misses the kick. He's actually been in good form with the boot this year. He kicked a bit in the New South Wales Cup as well. Obviously got 1 goal already, 15 for the season so far, and chipped in with 4 tries as well. He's one player that was rumoured to be heading to Super League at one point, and then had a nasty career-ending injury. Everybody thought that was him done, but he's fought his way back, and he's been in good form for this Broncos side this year. As the Vikings get us back underway, a long kick-off, and Bichigani off that back fence comes charging in, big carry, and Brett Ferris gets up high to make that tackle. That was a solid collision.
He's done him as Brett.
He has. It was a big hit. I thought actually when he went into the contact, you could tell he was a little bit not in a good place.
Yeah, it's not looking good, that one.
I thought when the initial contact was made, he looked uncomfortable, and it all seemed fine after that. But yeah, you can usually tell, on that first contact, it's been out of there. But it was a proper old school rugby league collision, that one, wasn't it? The big carry off the back fence, and they're all trying to have a pop at each other here, and Brett's not overly happy with what's being said. But actually, I don't remember there being any arms up in the air. He's wound up the big carry, and Brett stood in front of him.
Yeah, he's singled Brett out there, and he's gone straight at him, and he's come off second best, unfortunately, and it don't look a good one. But hopefully, I don't think he'll be carrying on, Joe Clarke. No. Not after that one. No. There didn't look to be anything in it. It looked like he more or less running to Brett's chest. He had his head down, and like I said, he's put himself in an awkward position, and just probably got his head in the wrong place, carrying the ball.
Well, the referee's talking with his touch judge here, but it's all smiles all around. I'd be really disappointed if there was anything in this, because we're sort of taking the sting out of the game. To be fair to the big front rower, he's wound it up off the back fence. He's charged 20 metres upfield, and if you're going to pick out a man in the line and you're going to carry that ball into contact, Brett's just stood up tall and put his body in front. That's the game, isn't it? That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, I think obviously the way that he's carried his ball is more or less pushed Brett back, and Brett's he's just more or less gone into his chest, and Brett's arms have come up, but didn't look malicious or anything like that, did he? It's just an awkward position that he's got himself in.
Now, it's a safety first mentality, and I know we have to protect the ball carriers, but if we take the rough and tumble out of the game, and Brett's had plenty of years of that, it's not, well, we might as well play touch and pass, eh?
Yeah,
don't think you would last much longer, would you?
Definitely not now. Yeah, like I said, player safety is the main aspect now of the technology around it and the science behind it. So it's unfortunate that he'll not be probably carrying on this afternoon. He looks a little bit jelly-legged, but
he looks okay. And good sportsmanship there as well. Good to see the two players just exchanging a little high five.
If you run like that, Clarke,
you're going to get whacked.
You're going to get whacked. So if you're like me, you run it a little bit slower and you don't get whacked.
And let's see what they're saying. Brett's walking away. He's not happy at all.
Yeah.
So he's going to say they've given a penalty, I would assume, here, but he's not happy, Brett. He thinks he's just made a tackle.
I always put it on report.
So he gives a penalty and puts
Which
it on report.
I sort of think that's... nothing stood out to me that it was malicious or there were any head contact there from Brett, so probably the right option there to stick it on report and probably have a look at it after the game, but I didn't think there was much in that from Brett. He's just put his head in a position where he's got his head down and he's come off second best.
So based on that logic, he's getting a 3-game ban then, isn't he? Knowing now you've described it that way, usually it's the way the drill works. So we'll have a look and we'll see. But yeah, certainly, I don't know if the effects might picked it up, but Brett certainly had a couple of strong opinions on that call.
He's due a couple of weeks off his Brett anyway. So give his body a rest.
The Broncos will come again, and it's good to see the game's got a little bit of bite to it. You know, it's two good sides having a crack at each other here. As Tyler Craig takes on Hawkins, that ball goes to ground, and it's got to be a knock-on. Sure.
Yeah, it's our ball. Yeah, back to.
And he's just going to let the Vikings play.
0 for Jack there.
And you can see, can't you, it was the one player I picked out before the game was Hawkins. When all the eyes have been on your Campbell Gillards and your Harveyleys, and understandably so, he's been quite instrumental in a lot of the good stuff that the Broncos have done this year. Connor O'Byrne, who's played for the Broncos last year in the Championship, a good half-back as well, has missed out because you've got Voro, the PNG international, and you've got Dean Hawkins playing all the strings. As Kemp comes forward into the line, plays the ball out the back to Miller, good combination, and Lloyd Kemp, good hands from Harmon to put Barley away down the right-hand side, and the inside ball to Kemp. This is good football from the Vikings, and Lloyd Kemp is tackled, and they're asking a few questions. And we'll come back to Harmon in a minute as that ball goes to ground. Not the best pass from him. Kemp will try and nudge this one down the line with the boot as he's pulled to ground, but he's manufactured a decent kick in the end, and good feet from Mariah as he gets off his own line. The one thing you don't want to give that man is space, because you give him an inch and he is gone.
Yeah, he looked very sharp then. To me, London, they look like a quick attacking team. They've got some slender bodies in there, some quick athletes, and that's just showing with the kind of rugby that they're playing. They are throwing the ball about, they are chancing their arm at times, and I think the late offload is coming quite inevitable, and it was just an area there that it didn't go to hand. So they are promoting the ball a hell of a lot of London. They do look like they're going to be playing some good rugby.
Hawkins with that kick away and good line speed and good pressure from the Vikings. Been a tasty game inside this opening 20 minutes. The London Broncos holding a narrow 4-point lead. I just wanted to mention Harmon. We saw our first glimpse of him there on that right-hand side, and he's playing in a new centre position for the first time, and there he is just taking a carry-in off the back line. But one thing he has got, and we saw the little flick pass, really skillful, big body, and you could see him actually finding a role on that edge.
Yeah, definitely. Macca's he's more of a runner of the ball. Obviously, he's playing standoff, but in games he's carrying the ball a hell of a lot. So, as an halfback, it's very rare that you see him get tackled quite a lot with the ball. So, Tag's made a decision to put him in there at centre because he's quite a strong runner of the ball. So,
that's a high one on Miller. The referee's having none of it as the play goes on. Miller down the line. Lloyd Kemp. The flat pass to Stavely inside, and then he will bring it back. No real advantage there. Good refereeing from Mr. Belafonte. Reasonable crowd in here as well at the Victoria Pleasure Grounds this bank holiday weekend. The sun shining, the beer flowing. That's what it's all about, this level of the game. Although knowing me and Liam, I'd say we could do with a pint of the nice cold stuff up here at half-time, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could do with a few refreshments.
Well, I noticed the coffee trailer's closed up today. I think it's the bar trailer that's doing a
yeah, I don't think they're selling many coffees, are they, today?
Not today.
Not on a red hot day, anyway.
I don't know, you'll be in that ice cream van on the way. Miller, down the line. Here's Kemp. A nice step in the line.
Oh, great ball over the top.
Barley. That's a lovely ball.
Lovely try.
Fantastic bit of football from the Vikings, and there's a lot of hype about this young man, Callum Kemp. He's played a handful of Super League games, made his debut for the Black and Whites back in 2024 during a disrupted season for them. Was given a couple of chances last season as well, and you can see why the youngster, with that wonderful ball out to the right-hand side, he just sat on his hips, didn't he? Drew the man in and just found the pass, which for a young man like that, that's some skill to find a ball like that, what's he?
Yeah, definitely. We're a very well-run play. Jack's gone into the line there. And that ball over the top, the winger's just shown himself too early for London there. He's put himself into the line. A little bit like Conor Barley did, but the pass over the top was absolutely sublime. And he's gone in for a walk in as Conor Barley, so that's his second of the afternoon.
Yeah, and he's in some form.
Yeah, there's some great try scoring form, is Conor at the minute.
14 tries, and I think that's in 14 appearances. So, yeah, he's doing really well, and actually playing in a slightly unfamiliar position, more of a centre.
Yeah, he's...
Now your mate Jack Miller lining this one up on the far side of the pitch. A tough kick He slipped a little bit, you could tell, as he managed to creep it over.
Oh, no, just short.
Just wide. So honours even. 10 points apiece, 22 minutes played. And you have to say, whilst the Broncos have looked lively, you've got to give all the credit to the home side here after 20 minutes.
That's the first attacking set that we've had on their line, and we've scored, so it's a great outcome for us. Normally you like to get a couple of sets down there and build some foundations, but he's picked that pass very well as Callum, so great play there.
Makes a big difference having speed in your attack as well, doesn't it? We've seen that this year at times when the Vikings have earned some good territory and not perhaps been able to capitalise at times. But you can see with the likes of Kemp, both Kemp boys.
Well, there's Super League players out there that they're playing for Super League teams, so I don't think there's no better game for them this week than to test herself against the best in the Championship. So I'm sure they'll be wanting to put in good performances and then go back to All FC and say, look, this is what we've done today, and try and get the faces in to play in the coming weeks at FC.
Big hit coming in on Jack Arnold. Big believer these young lads need to be given a chance in the Championship. You found that yourself this year, that it's a tough old league and it's a brilliant platform for some of these young lads to earn the spurs, and we're seeing a few of them do that here this afternoon. From one of the young guys to the older guys, Will Jubb just distributing it out of 9. Harvey Horn, another man on loan, making his debut for the Vikings today, son of Super League great, another Hull FC. There's a lot of Hull connections here today. Son of Graham Horn, who I understand was keen to come down and watch him this afternoon, but busy working. But I do understand, I think Grandma and Grandad are here today. And I got a text off Richard Horn, the coach of Doncaster, last night as well. Of course, Graham's brother, and they came up against London last night. So he was giving us a few hints and tips as to what to look out for in today's commentary. As the Broncos come again with Elliot Wallace. Good carry from him, powerful winger, centre. Got a good carry, makes good metres, as all this back line does for the London Broncos. It's a strength of theirs. Coached by NRL great, former Wakefield man, Jason Demetrio, knows a lot about the English game, having spent plenty of time over here. As Harvey comes again, and you've got to say once more, the Vikings fronting up well in defence.
Yeah, well, it's been a good set in defence there. We've kept them pinned into the 40, which is a big defensive demand of us to try and get as many trap 40s, so that'll be very pleasing for Tag. Good
brave carry there from Harvey Horn, a quick play of the ball as well. That's good football from the Vikings. They're well and truly in this game. I'm just watching the two prop forwards, and I've got the chairman of the prop forwards union stood up here with us, but just looking at Tyler Craig and Jack Arnold, both giving glances to that bench to go.
Yeah, they'll be looking for a breather. It's getting past that 25 mark now, so they've both done extremely well to still be in there and still carrying the ball like they are and defending, so fair play to them too.
Hodgson's been busy as well in there, doing a lot of work defensively, and as you mentioned earlier, when we joke about the fact that Tyler Craig is a postman by day, but there'll be those personal battles, won't they, in the game, whereas that ball is kicked by Harmon and bounces off the Broncos man. It'd be interesting to see which way this goes, but yeah, it's those personal collisions. He'll have turned up here today thinking, right, I'm coming up against Campbell Gillard and I'll give him a game. You know, it's those battles that make it interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, you always want to play against the best players, so it does bring the best out in you, and looking at him, he's a big character, and he's a big prop forward, so you can't go light on him. You're going to have to give everything that you've got, so
he plays big minutes for him as well. I mean, I know it is the Championship, but yeah, he's been good. And as is this man, the big tall Neil Tachombe. We know all about him. Impressive spell on loan from Wakefield Trinity last year, scoring 9 tries in 10 games, and practically had a try of the season highlights reel just for himself with some of the scores he came out with last year, and since taken the trip down to the capital as the first interchange of this game is made. As Savir Arvili comes off, and Capianas is on the field now. Again, another PNG international, as Davis feeds the ball down the line. And there goes
sharp him, Clarke here, the full-back.
Dynamite gets on the end of everything, and as the game opens up later in the match, you'll see a lot more of him too. He might be heading back to the NRL at some stage in the near future. I understand Hull Kingston Rovers coach Willie Peters is at the game today, has been spotted, possibly there to watch that man. Harvey Horn has just taken a good carry off the back line.
Yeah, very good carry, but very brave. Put yourself in a position there to catch the ball and rode a stiff tackle, so he's done well there as Harvey.
You've also got Willie Peters heading, of course, across to the new PNG franchise, so perhaps he's having a look at one or two of these Papua New Guineans that are playing here in Goole. Never thought I'd be saying that a couple of years ago, as Jack Miller looks to kick this one to touch, and he makes sure of that one. knock on behind us here, could have taken that, and the Vikings will get things back underway now as Cooper Howlett takes the tap and carries it in, playing on the left-hand side for the first time this afternoon. Been in impressive form down that right edge, but getting a chance on this left edge here today as Jubb finds the pass, Miller, and the Broncos just stepped into the line there as the Vikings look to try and open up a little bit of space. Staveley with the carry.
Good carry, Nick.
And it is a bit quiet last week with Staveley, but he's been playing himself into some decent form in this early part of the season. Kemp again.
I think it was the Batley Hill that quietened him off, mate.
Yeah,
he did a few of
quietened a few, yeah, it did. It did. It's such a place to try and play your rugby. Going in on us even, and then you come out in that second half. It's really tough. That sorts the men from the boys. One of the oldest rugby league grounds in the country up at Batley, and actually not many know that this ground here in fact rivals it. Rugby league was played here even earlier than Batley, just not officially. The Vikings first playing the sport here in 1898, and now we find ourselves here in 2026 watching Betfred Championship Rugby with the London Broncos taking on the Vikings. As Kemp kicks this one long, it's not the best kick in the world. Marea's there, and the Vikings have positioned themselves well. And like you say, he just hunts. He goes hunting, just looking for that little bit of a lazy effort in defence.
He's looking in every time he gets the ball. He's trying to beat who's in front of him. So he's definitely looking for a weak link there in that defensive line. So there'll be something that Tag will be mentioning at half time is keep putting that kick chase on, keep turning up for your mate and being there, because you don't want to let your team down. Late offload there.
Offloaders. Cap Ineas takes that ball upfield. Broncos look threatening every time they get that ball in hand. And they come once more. Nice little carry in the line. Bring the ball forward. Is it Conor O'Byrne over there on that far side? I think it is. And they just bring that ball forward.
I think Tyler's ready for a blow.
Yeah, he is. You can tell Brett Ferris making the tackle. There's Davis. Davis down
keep
the
working
line.
here. Great take. Great take by Cooper Howlett.
Good stuff from the Vikings. It's been pretty high completion rate so far.
Yeah, it's been set for set.
Yeah, no real errors.
I think we've definitely shown up.
The Vikings come once more. It is Conor O'Byrne's on the field, so I missed him coming on there. Looks like he's probably playing in that 13 role, a bit more football, perhaps direct replacement for Harvili. He's a big frame as well, isn't he? The big, tall, rangy 6. As we say, was part of that very first outing for the Vikings in January last year when they upset the odds to beat the Broncos by 17 points to 10 in their first ever game in the Betfred Challenge Cup.
Play it.
Some memorable outcome it was. Great carry by Hodgson. Jubb on the last now. It'll be Kemp to kick. He's got a bit of time. It's a lovely spiral bomb drifting in the breeze. The winger Liam Tyndall's underneath.
He didn't fancy that one.
And it's going to go long.
No, it's a great kick. It stayed in.
It's a great chase as well. Joe Phillips on the field, just been introduced.
Get him back.
Good for his first chase.
Great
And
defence.
drag him behind. Brilliant stuff from the Vikings.
Lovely kick that one. As soon as that went up in the air, I thought he's not going to catch that one. It was spiralling and blowing all over. So it's definitely a great outcome from that kick. And like I said, the defensive line were there in numbers, and they managed to just catch him and drive him back over the dead ball line. So done really well.
What was good to see there as well was the interest and the response from that chasing Vikings pack. They knew they had an opportunity. They sensed blood there, and then they got the reaction from the crowd as well. And usually that's when you can build a little bit of momentum. It's good to see.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see what we do with this set and how we deliver a second probably error.
Oh, and that's just not what we needed. Brad Bullock taking his first carry. He wound one up into contact and just couldn't keep hold of that ball. And the referee gives the knock on, and almost we've cursed him there because that momentum was building. There was a lot of people chanting take the kick. It was almost like there was an expectation for him to ramp it in, when sometimes you just got to wrap that ball up. But disappointment there for the Vikings because they had an opportunity to build themselves a foothold in the game. And he's been all right, Brad Bullock, since making his debut a few weeks back. For the Vikings, he had to wait patiently for his chance. Another boy from your neck of the woods, up the road in Castleford.
Yeah.
And a popular character in this team. Gets on with the old boys as well as he does the youngers. And he's a bit older than his years, is young Brad Bullock.
He definitely acts a lot older than what he is.
Yeah, just 18, soon to be 19. All those years ahead of him as Davis just steps out of 9, finds the pass to O'Byrne.
Great work, Brett.
Once again, that line speed from the Vikings.
Yeah, I think what we seem to do, we're not letting them dictate to us, and we're trying to get up. Macca there.
Oh, Vorro, lovely little ball from him. That was a nice piece
great
of play.
tackle.
Great tackle by Lloyd Kemp on his line, and he's knocked on. He's knocked on in the tackle, hasn't he?
Yeah, give it.
Well, I thought he'd made the tackle. Surely the ball carrying arm's gone to ground, doesn't he?
It would held. He were on his back, and he's just promoted the ball up, a bit like rugby union style, and just and offloaded it. But I could have sworn he was tackled there.
It looked to be. He was held on the ground for a slight period. Referee was in a good position, as was the touch judge. And what you find when teams are rolling like they are, it's just going to watch this replay now. Nice hands from Voro, and then the tackle comes in. It's a great effort actually from. To be fair, he's done well.
Yeah, he's done well there.
Ben Hussey Horde.
He's kept his arm down, and on the non-ball playing arm, and he's just flicked it out on the to his right hand side, and support played up the back up the middle. Yeah, and that's what these teams will do to you if you capitalise there and you don't get to end of your sets. And you do invite them into your half. They have got quite a lot of attacking threat, so you can't keep turning over cheap ball like that too easily to them.
So another score then for the Broncos with the kick to come. It's the Vikings 10, London Broncos 14. Been a really good game so far. Just over the half an hour mark. It is Vikings TV, being brought to you exclusively live on Lounges TV. Thanks to our partners Northern Retrofit, as the kick is kicked, and this time it's through. So another 2 points onto the scoreboard, and it's 16 points to 10. But I think, Watsy, if we would have given this to Vikings head coach Scott Taylor at this point in the game, he would have probably taken it.
Yeah, it's. I think that's a good pick by them. They've seen that we are getting up quite high. So Conor Barley and Armand showed the colours on the early doors that they are going to get up in the faces. So he's just delayed that pass to look like he's going to go out the back, and then he's just, as soon as they made the decision to come up high, they've just run a little scoop line on the outside of him, and he's more or less just sliced straight through untouched. So they have sort of clicked onto that we are getting high defensively. So it's a good pick by London there.
It just shows at this level there's no real margin for error. The Vikings forcing that drop out under the sticks, ramping up all that effort. Then the knock on from Bullock, and within just a matter of moments, the Vikings are conceding at the other end of the field. And that could be a knock on there.
That's definitely an error.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Good stuff from the Vikings. The Broncos, probably for the first time there, Liam, you could argue a little bit complacent, just cruising the ball in.
Yeah,
less momentum.
They are trying to force a lot of offloads, and I go back to my earlier point. I think they're trying to play the off the cuff sort of style play of rugby, and they're trying to get it quick ruck and an offload to try and tear teams up, but they've had quite a few errors in there, and I think they're just trying to force it a little bit too much. I don't know if they're taking the Vikings lightly or what defensively, but we have caused them to have a few errors.
So from the scrum then, Harmon looking for the flick pass.
Touched.
I think it's come off a Broncos' hands.
Yeah,
he tried to find Barley on the wing, and then a knock on, I think, from Barley. So it'll probably be the first knockdown. Yeah. And we'll get to basically do it all again.
Yeah, another scrum play
in front of the sticks. Shane Toohey introduced now for the Vikings as well. He brings a little bit of speed in and around that 9 role. He's played pretty much everywhere this year, hasn't he? Full back. He's played at 6, played at 9, anywhere in that spine, coming off the bench as the Vikings look to rotate their pack. The Broncos doing the same on what is a pretty warm day, 22 degrees here in East Yorkshire. Sun is shining. Probably the best day of the year we've had, I think, so far. If Watsy wasn't here, he'd be fishing or golfing, I would imagine. It's a little flat pass into
I'll be in the beer garden. I won't be fishing or golfing, I can assure you of that.
Toohey, out of 9. Hodgson
Great
driving that one in.
Jalen.
He runs a lot bigger than his size as Toohey looks for the play. Well, he steps off that right foot. Nice bit of deception. Looking to fall. That ball's come loose, I think, there, as he was whacked. Good tackle in the end from the Broncos. And then they say knock on, 1-on-1, bounced off each other. There'll be a scrum down here, which is probably handy because Davidson was looking to get away there. The young London centre made his debut last year. Just his second appearance of this season. Good to see him getting an opportunity for his hometown club.
Just got a bit scrappy on it now, the last 10 minutes, both sides. I think fatigue's sort of playing a massive factor in that now. Like I said, it's probably been one of the hottest days that we've had this year, so it is playing a big part in its fatigue now, and does it look like a few of the lads are fatigued out there.
Now, look, I'm not going to say this too loudly because we do have both benches just below us here in our commentary point here at the Victoria Pleasure Grounds. But we've got the big man going off here. I think it's Kapinas, who's not long come on the field, quite clearly limping, which would suggest that he's got a leg injury, and yet the physio has signalled a head contact, and he's coming off for a concussion assessment. And that's the ones, I'm never a big fan of those when I feel people are perhaps milking the rules, but there's definitely a hobble, and the last time I checked, you don't hobble with your head. But hey-ho, maybe that's just someone perhaps pushing the boundaries of the rules, shall we say, as the Broncos will feed the scrum, and Tyndall will carry that ball in. He's another one who's got a powerful carry, hasn't he, for this Broncos back line. They've definitely got some ball carriers and threat here as they come forward once more. As Adebayi on the field, back at London Broncos now. Of course, been a big part of what the Broncos have done for the large part of a decade now, the Nigerian international. You just see that tempo that the Broncos are trying to play with as Stock takes that big carry upfield, and hand off as well there to Hussey Horde, inside ball to Vorro, and he's got some wheels, he could be away here. That long leg stride, Callum Kemp's not slow, so it shows how quick Vorro is. And broken field stuff, once again that tempo just doing the damage, and the Broncos are away. It's a nice try, they extend their lead, and they're now 20 points to 10 up with the kicks to come.
Yeah, that comes to, obviously, again, quick play of the ball, Davis getting out there at 9, and then just promoting the ball there for the offload. And then if you look at the picture there, there's 4 or 5 white shirts that's could have passed to any one of them. So yeah, great try.
He's been in good form as Vorro. He's keeping some good players out of this team, as we said earlier, and that's where he's dangerous, when these guys are rolling and playing eyes up rugby, broken field stuff like that. He just has a habit, as much as the fullback does, he just has a habit of just being in the right place at the right time, looking to pick up those scraps. And you can see why this Broncos side are unbeaten this season, because I wouldn't say they've been at the best in this first half, but they've taken every single opportunity they've had, haven't they? They
look like they could just score at will when they're in that mindset, don't they? Like I said, they're just promoting that sort of second phase, and that late offload or a quick play of the ball, and they just flood round the middle. I don't think the early doors they were throwing it wide, weren't they? But now I think they've realised now that we're gonna play through the Vikings and keep it quick.
So we'll get things back underway with just a couple of minutes to half time. It's been a good afternoon of rugby so far here. The Vikings have held the gloves up, but I think if they'd have gone in at 16 points to 10, they'd have been bouncing in the sheds. I think that score's just turned it a little bit, and they'll probably just want to hold out now for the next 90 seconds. And Lloyd Kemp on loan from Hull FC looks to get us back underway. And the kick-off is long upfield to the Broncos' right. Moreira catches that ball, and they come crashing this ball forward once again with Stock, another one who's been in around this London side for some time. Always good to see the Broncos bringing through one or two from home shores as they come forward once more. The Vikings looking to front up in defence. Certainly a bit of fatigue creeping in there. Joe Phillips been a little bit loose in his contact since coming onto the field. Hodgson once again, who's been exceedingly busy in that middle unit, and again flat hands, he touched the line. Stock comes through. Hawkins with the one-on-one now at the full-back. Stock looking to charge. Good supporting play from Smith, and Smith will be over. Back-to-back tries for the Broncos as they take control of this match by 24 points to 10 with a kick to cup, and that is a sucker punch for the Vikings at 16-10 with just a couple of minutes to go to the break. It looked like a good first 40 minutes, but it shows how quickly things can change when you're coming up against a side like the Broncos, and that's another good try. And once again, some desperate defence, you've got to say. I think a tired Viking side struggling to get to
I think they've obviously they're sort of adapting to our style of defence. If you look here, we're just getting up hard, and then boom, Brett just dips in, doesn't he, there, and Jack don't follow in, so he just tips him straight in untouched, and he's supported back on his own break, and then just tips it on again. So great play there by London. Poor defence from us.
Trying to solve the problems on your own, and that's when the damage can be done.
Yeah, I suppose when one person goes in, the next person's got to follow him, and I think Brett's just made a decision there to dip in, and he's just tipped the ball on it as Brett's dipped in, so his malice just gone through untouched again.
Hawkins lining up the kick. You'd think he'd get this one here with the hooter imminent as the two tall water towers watch on across the field here. And Hawkins strikes towards the Northern Express, which cruises along behind the stand. Nice vantage point for some of those guys riding past on the train. A few guys heading in from a beer from Cass, I would imagine there was. I think you can get up the road there. A few more dropping in as we approach half-time here at the Pleasure Grounds. The Broncos leading by 28 points to 10. And like I said earlier, you just watch this game and you think the Vikings have been well in it. You know, they've really put the gloves up.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing last probably 5 minutes, because up to these last 5 minutes we've sort of been giving them a game. So it's, but you know, Clarke, the game's 80-minute game, and it's not a 25-30-minute game. So, and I feel like these are only going to get stronger as the game goes on. We've caught them a bit cold at the start of the game, but now that they are running a lot more harder and a lot stronger.
And all credit to Jason Dimitriou's side, because the one thing you have to say is they've been ruthless. When they've had those opportunities, either close to the line or from deep, they've taken them. They look well drilled. Got some fantastic training facilities down there. They actually train out of the former base of London Irish, the rugby union club, and brilliant setup. As Watsy mentioned earlier, full-time athletes, and you can see they're building.
It's been good him since he come on.
Really good. Really good.
Yeah, he's caused us a bit of damage since he come on.
Stocky by name, stocky by nature. I think he's got a bit of a knee in the head there inadvertently as well. Nothing deliberate in that one.
He's got good light footwork.
Be interesting now, because I didn't want to say too much, but down here I saw the lad who came off getting both knees looked at, and he went off with a head knock. This guy's gone down now with a head knock and probably stay on the field. That's just how it works.
No, he's actually coming off of his knee, Clarke.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. It is what it is. I'll probably get into trouble for saying that. So he's absolutely fine. I mean,
I think he just I think he got caught in a bit of a crusher style, didn't he? He just fell down on the back of his neck.
Thought he took a knee to the face, I think, when I
he probably might have done.
Yeah.
But I definitely
mate, you're right, he's been good, and you have to say the Broncos have been good as well. They've carried the ball well and taken the chances when it counts, and the Vikings will just be desperate to get to half-time, you would think now. We're running slightly over with our clock. The hooter will be sounding, well, any time now, you'd say, as the Broncos... Oh, God, we're looking what we're doing here, ref. Another one on report? So, yeah, maybe a bit of a crusher in there as well, like you say, Watson.
It just felt, I think it wasn't intentionally just come down, and unfortunately his neck got put in a position that it shouldn't be put in, so he just fell on the back of his neck there, and that's what he's got flagged up for.
So we go again. Kick to touch from Hawkins. I think he's had a good game, actually, just pulling all of the strings. 92 games in the New South Wales Cup. Never quite got his opportunity. Played a handful of matches in the NRL, but he's always been in and around that scene, just playing in that reserve grade. Typical Aussie halfback, busy, good hands, looking to strike whenever they can. Smith, who's been probably one of the pick of the players for the Broncos today. Nice little drop off once again. Big carry up the middle of the park as the Broncos just set fair in front of the post. Options both sides. They're going to go swing to the right hand side. O'Byrne, ball out the back to Hawkins once more. Maria, good hands to Chombe. That's a good try once more from the Vikings. Good shape, well executed, and the Vikings have no answer to that. It's another score. It's 32 points to 10 with a touchline kick to come. Good try.
Yeah, they're just digging into the line now, aren't they? They're waiting to see what their edge is doing, and that time there, they've just dug in, and he's just ended up going out the back, and good finish there by Dushanbe.
Muted celebrations from him as well, which is nice to see. Bit of respect for the club he spent a bit of time on loan with last year. Somewhat necessary diving finish on this AstroTurf
Yeah, I don't think that was warranted, was it?
No, I'm not sure he needed to really do that. But,
the dive, but it looked the part.
Yeah, he did. It's a good finish. I've seen you attempt one or two of those down the years.
Yeah, I wish.
But yeah, good hands. And as we just keep saying, don't we, it's those spine players are just connecting everything up, and you've seen Havili come off the field, Connor O'Byrne's gone on, and there's no change in the way they're approaching the game. Very direct, good shape, good structure, playing quick. And you can see why they are unbeaten this season. It would be interesting to see how this squad actually would compete with some of the Super League sides, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, it's strength in depth in it that you need to have these days. So I think what London will be doing now is trying to put a bigger squad together, and if the plan is for them to win to Super League next year or get somewhere near, then they're going to have to run with a bigger squad than what they've got at the minute. But
Hawkins strikes the kick, and it's a good one. The flags go up. That's a decent touchline conversion from the Australian as the hooter sounds. And it's been a good first half for the Broncos. And you have to say, all credit to the Vikings for the first 30 minutes. They really fronted up and led for large periods of the game, thanks to back-to-back tries from Connor Barley, one going the length of the field for the Vikings. But their visitors here to the north of England from the capital have had the best of that last 10 minutes and have taken this game well and truly away from the Vikings today, with tries from Bichigane, Campbell Hussey, Voro, Smith, Tachombe going over there as well, and that gap has just opened up in the last 5 minutes. But it's been a tasty game of rugby league. It's been a good one for the neutral, and hopefully you've been enjoying this one at home watching on Vikings TV, as we do it with Lounges TV, thanks to our sponsors Northern Retrofit, and our match sponsors today, J.E. Hartley. Thank you to Liam Watts, been alongside us for first half commentary. Second half coverage to come here from the Victoria Pleasure Grounds, but it's the Broncos leading at half time. Welcome back to the Victoria Pleasure Grounds for this second half of this round 12 Betfred Championship clash. James Clarke and Watson in the commentary box with you as we await the two teams, just watching back through the replay of the tries in the first half. Connor Barley striking first with another length of the field effort for his 12th or 13th try of the season, should I say, and then the Broncos strike back. Liam, you pick it up here from us and talk us through what you've seen in this first half.
Yeah, just I think they were testing the waters early doors with the shape that they were attacking with. They tried going wide to start the game off, Didn't really work out for London, so what they've gone the more direct route. They see Regan Campbell-Gillard just pick a good line and stroll straight through the middle of us. So I think as the game's progressed on, they've sort of worked us out what his defensive patterns are, and I think now they're really putting us to the sword with the second phase sort of stuff, the late offloads, the quick play of the balls, and I mentioned earlier how athletic some of these lads look. So I think that's the attacking sort of style that they play with London, and they've really put us to the sword that last 10, probably 15 minutes of the first half, which at 16-10 we were saying if we went in at 16-10 and Tag would be really happy with that, and then score a few back-to-back tries and it just sort of knocks the stuffing out of you. So hopefully we can start this second half like we started the first half and put a few points on the board.
So we're back underway. Moreira, the fullback, getting us underway, kicking towards the Marker Street end of the ground. And first hands on the ball will be the Vikings. And what do you think Scott Taylor will have said to his troops in there at half-time? Like you say, disappointed with that last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I've just had a good chat with him there. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of errors in the back end of that half there, which has sort of invited London into our half. So if we can cut them errors down and keep set for set like we were doing in that first 20-25 minutes, then we'll stick it to them this first 15-20 minutes.
Liam Tyndall returning the ball for the Broncos. Went racing across that line there, looking to sniff a gap, but nothing doing. What was the difference, do you think, between that first 30 minutes and then what you saw in the 10 minutes? And what do you think London will be looking to exploit at the start of this second half?
Yeah, I just think London sensed that we were sort of teetering defensively, and I think they just stepped it up. I thought Stock were massive for him when he come on the back end of that stint. So he's got some good late footwork and it's caused us a bit of damage. And as you can see now, they're just slowly starting to poke the nose through the line, which is a bit concerning.
Good set there from the Broncos, marching upfield. Little kick upfield from Hawkins, hits the ground and finds touch. So the Vikings just let that one ride. And they just need to find the rhythm again, the Vikings here. As Liam Watts says, former Challenge Cup winner with Hull FC, back-to-back in 2016 and 2017. Now, of course, a Vikings player, not playing here this afternoon. But the Vikings just need to get back in that arm wrestle.
Yeah, I think them losing the two forwards as well might play dividends at the end of the game. A few of the lads will have to play a lot extra minutes than what they used to for London. So hopefully that can be to our advantage and we can exploit that. So I'd be sticking around the middle and try and tie these middle lads out and then get our starting middles back on and come on with a wet sail.
Joe Phillips with the carry, now Hull FC player, been playing in the reserves for the Black and Whites, first appearance for the Vikings on loan here this afternoon. Brad Bullock, former Castleford junior, taking the carry there too. Tui, dummy half. Kemp looks for a little flat pass to Staveley into the line, looked high, nothing being given. Good tackle coming in from Wallace. Three men in there for the Broncos, who travelled up to East Yorkshire this morning. Long drive home for them. Kemp with the kick on the last. It's high, just drifts in the light breeze here. Comfortable for Neil Tachombe.
Yeah, well taken.
And he just made that look easy.
Yeah, he
did.
Just
cruises back up. Yeah. Made it look like it's just every day.
Yeah, he just had his hands by his side and at the last minute just puts them up and he took it very comfortably.
I think it helps when you're 9'3". You almost it's just there for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he has to jump, does he?
Must be. I would guess he's probably the tallest player in rugby league in this country at the minute.
Davis there, just getting out now and again on a quick play of the ball and just quickening the tempo up again. And
then you see the danger there. Moreira finds his gap. Luke Smith through the line, inside ball to Moreira. Good try from the Broncos. Soft defending from the Vikings. Not the start they would have wanted at the start of this second half. All too easy in the end. The Broncos extend their lead another 4 points. It's 38 points to 10 with a kick to come.
Yeah, looks like he's pulled up a bit lame there, does Davis. I don't know if it's his groin or what, but he's got up a bit gingerly out of that. But yeah, it come off the back of him really. He just up-tempoed again and took off at 9, and then on the back of that, then our defence is retreating, and bit time they turn round, they've already gone through them. So I think the message is ruck control and tying it up and slow the rucks down. that's their game, what they want to do. They're wanting to quicken up. We need to slow it down. So I think that's what the message will be. What Tag's just sent on is try and slow the ruck down and don't let it get as quick, because on the back of it, they're scoring points, are they?
If there's one thing the Vikings have learned this year with the big step up to the Championship, easy to forget that, brand new team. We're still finding the feet in League One last year, but it has been a big step up, and particularly when you're coming up against sides like London Broncos, speed really does kill, and it makes a huge difference. As I think what's our summariser, get a bit of sledging from some of the boys down here in the dugout.
I can see a couple of ball patches from up here, and it's them guys that are sledging me. So. People in glass houses and all that.
To be fair, though, that comes to all of us, I'm afraid, does that?
Yes, it does.
Bit of old age, and some of us are still foolish to be running around playing a little bit at the minute as well.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
You're a long time retired. And,
you are, that is correct.
And
that's what everybody keeps telling me.
Correct. And then that's what the nice thing about, a tough day at the office for the Vikings here today, and I think everybody probably coming to watch expected that. But the one thing that has been built here in this new team is that kind of team spirit, camaraderie, being part of something. And when you look at yourself, the likes of Brett Ferris who are out there, you've got people who genuinely love the game, care about the game, and want to see the club do well. And if you could bottle that, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, Ron wasn't built in a day, Clarke, was it? So I think the foundations that's getting built at the club is only going to get bigger and stronger.
So we go again. That's a bit better defensive contact from the Vikings.
From
Straight in and looking to front up. Messages getting across perhaps from Scott Taylor down here in front of us. Obviously a new coach in his first couple of seasons on the coaching ranks, and then away to our right hand side, a seasoned veteran, Jason Demetriou, from the other side of the world. Obviously coached and played in the NRL, of course, coached and played over here in Super League as well. He's seen and done plenty, and finds himself in Goole overseeing the Broncos' latest match and potentially latest win. 9 from 9 so far this season, and look well on course to making it 10 as Smith comes down the right-hand side. Easy move in the end, fires the ball out right to Neil Tachombe. The left-hand side of the defence has been exposed once again. The Broncos making this look easy now, and it's another try. That brings up 44 points to 10 to the Broncos, and based on this form, I think it could be a long second half.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing effort that there, because it didn't come off anything that looked threatening. It's just a poor one-on-one miss. I think it was Jack Miller. I think that he's just gone through there. Yeah, he just got through, and then Cooper Howlett's just not finished him off. And like I said, on the back of that there, you're not going to catch Ntchembe there straight down the outside. So just a little bit too easy that, which is quite concerning. Just at the ease that he scored that, and we went back to what we just said on the last try. It went off a slow ruck, like it went off a quick ruck, so it's quite disappointing that.
So the hooker Sam Smith is coming off whilst Dean Hawkins lines up this kick. He's played really well there this afternoon. I think he's been the pick of the players.
Davis.
For me. Davis, sorry. What did I say?
Smith.
Did I? Sam Smith. Just knocking out a quick number for us. It's a quick number whilst we're at it this afternoon. Hawkins lining up this kick from the right-hand side of the field. Jimmy Meadows on the field for the Broncos, and I think we're about to see Callum Shaw introduced here too. And Jack Miller is the one being pulled.
Yeah, I think what will happen is that Meadows going to go into the half, innit? So
we'll see what happens.
I think it'll be O'Byrne that'll go in at 9, won't he?
Possibly having a look at that. Maybe even Vorros can possibly jump in there as well.
Yeah.
We'll see how they line up here. And I'm just looking at the reshuffle now here as well. I think Shane Toohey is going to go across to play 6 for the Vikings.
Yeah, he's brought Jack Miller off.
And well, as you saw, he's at fault for a couple of tackles there, and I think Scott Taylor perhaps seen enough of that. Doesn't appear
what we
to
like
be
to
an
call
injury.
the old fish hook.
I think it is that one. And looking now, I think what have we got? Jalen Hodgson going in at 9, Toohey out to 6, and I'm trying to see who's going to line up in.
Meadows is he's in at 9. Yeah, he's in at 9.
Just trying to work out who's gone into 13 then for the Vikings. We'll just see how this settles down a little bit.
So forward pass.
I've got Barley playing centre now. It is forward pass. I still can't work out who's playing where. We're just trying to.
Yeah, so you've got Phillips and Bullock there. They're obviously the props, and I think Jalen's in there at 9.
Oh, is it Macca? Macca's gone across, so that's what we've missed.
Yeah,
so actually, Toohey's still at 9. Macca's gone to play half-back on the left-hand side of the field, and Connor Barley just stepping in at centre. So, yeah, clearly Scott Taylor has had enough. And Brief respite here for the Vikings then. Let's see what they can do coming up this Broncos line. To our right-hand side, Barley looking for the fend and the offload, decides to wrap them up. Probably a sensible call there on the first tackle. As Tui comes across to play the ball, he'll look send it across the field. Kemp just farms it onto Bullock. Bullock with a little twist into contact. 3 men in there to make the tackle. Campbell Gillard is one of them. And Broncos retreat well. And they get another 6 again there. Harmon and the line plays it wide to Kemp. Kemp, good hands, good little pass. Oh, but it's going to intercepted by Neil Tachombe. Callum Shaw's come across the cover.
I think he's
the
got
chase
him.
Is on.
I think he's got him.
Tachombe's just holding up, puts the gears on, and good chase from both Maka Harmon and Callum Shaw there. Shaw covered some ground there, having just come onto the field. But the Broncos are coming hunting. It's a broken line now. Hawkins feeds it to Marais. Marais with a long ball out to the left-hand side for Tyndall. And Tyndall will be home here. The former Hull FC and Leeds Rhinos man gets his first try of the game. It's his 8th of the season. It's another score for the Broncos. And from one end of the field, where the Vikings were looking to make their mark, and they find themselves back under the sticks once again. The 50 is up for London. It's a 50 points to 10 advantage with a kick to come.
Yeah, he's just picked his pocket there, Danny. He's run 70 metres. I think it was a good cover tackle, but we're still on the retreat, and they've just picked us there, and he's put the ball over the top to Tyndall, which good long range try.
Everything coming down that right-hand side. It was a quiet right edge, wasn't it, for the Broncos in the first half, but everything has come down that side. And I don't know if Neil Tachombe is carrying an injury of some kind, but he just ambled through there a couple of times, didn't he? We're used to seeing him race clear. It was a good cover tackle from Callum Shaw, but ultimately the broken line and bodies flooding forward, and it didn't take much for Hawkins to send the ball left and see Liam Tyndall go over for his first try of the game. And you can hear those vocal London fans. They've enjoyed the trip up. I heard a few of them were in town having a few beers.
I think there's about 6 of them behind the sticks, Clarke. They've come in the droves, haven't they, today?
There's a few down here to the right-hand side, although the ones to the right seem to have moved around a little bit. And I think hopefully enjoying the game, hopefully enjoying their first trip up to Goole.
Well, if it's 22 degrees here, it's always at least 26, 27 down in London, so I don't blame them.
For sure. If there's a few London followers, I believe, on the stream this afternoon, so good afternoon to you as well. Hope you're enjoying our coverage here on Vikings TV. Being broadcast through Lounges, brought to you by our sponsors Northern Retrofit and our match sponsors J.E. Hartley. Great local firm, as the Vikings will look to get back underway. Now, if you're out there, Liam, as a seasoned front rower, and you're coming at this from a Viking perspective, you've got this red-hot Broncos side looking to make it 10 wins in a row. Some really experienced players out there in front of you. You know, the red-hot, the striking every time. You've got another half an hour to get through. What's the message you're giving to some of these young boys on that field?
It's just staying in there. Keep, because this is about building foundations and building a team that competes. You know what I mean? You don't want to throw the towel in. You want to build. So when you are coming up against the teams that you should be sort of winning and playing well against, when you're getting into the 60, 70, 80 minutes, it puts you in good stead for that. So it'd be nice to see us stick with the game. Great shot there by young Phillips.
Yeah, good to see young Phillips going up against Campbell.
Yeah, I think he's done well since he's come on, Clarke. He's made some good, strong contacts. I think he's found a rhythm now, because he's been out injured, hasn't he, at FC. Yeah, so I think this is on his second game back. He's sucking him in, but he's tried hard. He's worked hard from marker, and he'll need a well-earned rest after this.
He will, as the kick comes high from Hawkins. And I think it's Cooper Howlett, yes it is, Harvey Horn, I apologise, taking the carry and brings it in. And that's the one thing, just to put it in perspective for everybody watching at home, when we keep talking about the quality and the calibre and the experience of this Broncos side, other than Brett Ferris out there now, when you cast an eye down this line, the average age of the other 12 players on show right now is probably around about 21. You know, It's a very, very young team. And looking down the rest of the side, I think the next oldest after Brett is probably 24, and yet it is the seasoned veteran taking the big carry in there and looking to lift his side, the captain of the Vikings, and he wins his side a penalty.
He's done well as Brett.
He's milked that one a little bit.
Yeah, he's done an extra roll there as Brett, and he's managed to get a penalty out of him.
And like you say, there's an opportunity here for these young lads to earn the stripes, isn't there, coming up against a seasoned team like this? And again, to put it in perspective, obviously Goole was the brand new team in League One last year. London haven't played too many of the former League One sides in this new look championship. They have come up against Swinton, who they beat by 80 points, and they actually notched up 100 against big spending North Wales Crusaders. So whilst it feels disappointing with the scoreline at 52-10, as it stands, the Vikings are certainly holding up the gloves and doing last year's League One proud, you could say. So that just gives you an idea of the level of competition they're up against, and they're not holding back. They're coming hunting again, and hopefully asking a few questions of the Broncos here as they move it left to Kemp with a little drop-off. Back to the skipper there. Another former cast player like this man next to me. And then he's given the forward penalty. Late shot on late Harman.
Shot. It was definitely late.
He's looked lively actually in this last couple of minutes and shifting back into the half-back spot. Probably his opportunity to turn around to coach and say, I'm still there.
Yeah, this is my position.
Yeah. And I've always quite liked him in the old days, playing over on the left-hand side of the field. Often plays right for the Vikings. So playing out there will give him a chance. Usually you get a bit more ball on that left edge as well, don't you? So we'll see what happens. Chance now then. Let's see what the Vikings can do and see if the Broncos can hold up defensively here as Phillips carries that ball in for the home side. Up in front of the sticks. Tui's there at 9. He'll always be looking to sniff an opportunity to go himself. Harman comes round. Kemp, good hands. Little flat pass into Staveley. Runs onto that ball. Good defence coming in from Meadows. And I think Hussey Horn in there as well. Tui sends a ball crossfield to Kemp. Kemp finds Harman. Harman steps off the left foot, looks to go himself. It is dangerous. Good cover defence actually coming in there from Smith. Tui swings round, looking for a gap. Nothing doing. He's run himself down a blind alley really there. So the Vikings will have to set up again on the last tackle now. Can they ask some questions here? Perhaps a repeat set. Harman looks to kick him behind. Comes off the Broncos man. Referee says not played at. So that's the turnover. And the Broncos have the ball back.
Yeah, a bit of a poor set to that finish there from us. We had a couple of plays there where we didn't really ask any questions of them, and I was looking at what they were doing defensively, London, and they were stacking this open side heavily, and they were quite short on the short side. So it'd be nice to see Macca take that short side there and ask a few more questions, but he had a poor set to that set there.
And these are the things you were talking about in the first half, Liam. These are what we call, I guess, the coach colours, where you get up that end of the field, you buy yourself some time, some respite, poor end to the set, then you concede a penalty, and suddenly the Broncos are on halfway with a full set in the bag.
And you can't do that against these. You can't compound a poor end of set with a penalty and then invite him into your half, because ultimately, these points are going to be coming on the back of this.
So the Broncos come again. Havili's been reintroduced. Meadows feeds O'Byrne. O'Byrne flat pass to Hawkins, tight to the line. Smith crashes through. He has a good second half actually, as Luke Smith. I think he's one of those understated players that's come across from Australia, but I know he's held in high regard down in London. Here's O'Byrne again. Short pass into Havili. Hard man to put down. Staveley's the man in there with Bullock. But the Broncos sniff an opportunity. Meadows flat to the line. Gillard swings, finds the pass, moves it out towards Hawkins.
Good defence there. I thought they had us on the rack.
Well, they do here, but that ball's gone to ground. It's bounced off a Vikings player. Harman going for the intercept. He couldn't get hold of it. Ball goes to ground. And I think it's Moreira who scooped that one up and gone over on the right edge for yet another try for him this season. He's been banging form. He's in double figures. And the Broncos are pretty much home and dry here. They're going to make it 10 wins from 10 in the championship this season. And you can see why, Liam, that these boys are going to find it very difficult to beat.
I thought we did quite well there on his line. We kept him out. I think Mac has just made a decision there to go because they're quite short on numbers, so he's thought he could have got to that ball, and unfortunately he's just dropped it, and then it's just popped up into his arms, and he's more or less all he's had to do is fall over the line. So I thought we did quite well to scramble there, and I thought that we were going to keep him out there for a second until Mac had just dropped the ball, and then. Well, I did say that we're going to probably fret with the back-to-back error there, and we've invited him into our half, and then ultimately they've scored points again, which seems a common theme this afternoon.
It does, unfortunately. And as Dean Hawkins is lining this kick up, a quick word on the match officials there as well. You perhaps just noticed in the back of shot the reserve referee, the backup official, carrying the water on for the referee Aaron Belafonte today. Well, that's Jack Wallace. So when we're talking about rugby league in these parts, Jack was actually part of the amateur and the junior club here at the Goole Vikings. He's been earning his spurs over the last few years, working his way up the food chain to try and become a full-time referee, and this is one of his latest steps up on that journey, and a bit of an honour for him to be the reserve referee here on the home turf, and I know he's pushing really hard to try and take that next step in his referee career, so congratulations to him. And rugby league capturing the minds of everyone, it seems, in this town this year. As the Vikings look to get back underway, Hawkins adding the extras. So it's 58 points to 10, and a bit of damage limitation you would suggest now for the Vikings as we're coming to this final 20 minutes of the game, and perhaps just front up and see if they can test this Broncos line again, because when they've had opportunities they have looked dangerous but just not spent enough time in this match at the right end of the field. There's some fruity hits coming in there. Jack Arnold reintroduced with the headband on. He's gone at Campbell Gillard, and I'm not sure that's a penalty.
No, I don't think it was a penalty. Yeah, there were hands in, but it was just to stop him from offloading, and I think he's got away lucky there. I think he's got away with one.
You often find, don't you, when some of these big name players come over, I think it's hard to go against them sometimes, isn't it, when it's all about them. But credit to the Broncos, mate. They've come here, they've had a trip up from London this morning, no overnight stays at this level, so a long bus ride, been very professional, gone about the business. I've noticed before the game, very respectful way, everybody come in, done the job. They're going to be heading back to the capital with another win, and I guess the question is, Liam, at this level, can you see them going unbeaten all year? Because it's hard to see who's going to be able to challenge them.
I think somebody might get him. I think Doncaster had him on the racks for quite a large percentage of that game last week. So I think if that, London might get a bit of confidence from that.
A burn steps through the line. Hawkins on the inside. Tui chasing. He's not going to be able to get hold of him. Arvili's in. He scores the try. And they're happy with that one. He's obviously a popular figure in this team. It was good hands. Nice inside ball. And just once again, the gap's opening up. And the Broncos just capitalising.
They're just thriving off that second phase stuff. They're promoting the ball very well. Late offloads, and the plays that they've got on the back of this, they're just absolutely killing teams. See that inside ball there, missed tackle, and then boom, straight through. And then you see there the late offload and Avali under the posts. And
you know, they make it look easy, but you know, this is a game, as we say, of fine margins, and that one first bit of execution, that one player you can find in the wrong position, force the missed tackle, find somebody not where they need to be in the line, and then suddenly everything's happening.
It's the amount of plays that they've got flooding through on the second phase that's killing us. Normally in this league you're probably seeing 1-2 players max. There's always 4 and 5 that's in and around that ball, and they're just flooding the middle, is what we call it, and that's what they're doing. And there's somebody on the inside, somebody on the outside, somebody out the back, and they've got quite a lot of players that's in positions to strike.
So Hawkins lines this kick up. I think this will be a mere formality, and we'll take the Broncos to 64. I think I'd back me or you from here, to be honest, Watsy, so he'll get the 2.
I've seen him missed. A little chip wedge there. He didn't really.
It was a good one, wasn't it? Sandwich out the bag. And,
yeah. I didn't think he didn't put anything through that. He just more or less just tapped it over.
Yeah, I think you could back heel that one. Yeah. So 64 points to 10 is the lead. Broncos very much in control here. And the Vikings looking for a little bit of reaction. And you just sense they've not quite got the same level of belief and intensity.
Yeah, I think that's been knocked out of us now. Yeah. You can see there that everybody were walking back to the halfway line, trying to slow the game down, get a second breath, and set start again and see what we can do here.
Gillard really ramps one up off the back fence, and the Vikings come and meet the man, and good defence in the end. Arnold fronting up, Arnold's gone. You can tell his arm's gone. Yeah, he needs off the field. He's hurt himself there. Craig was the man in there. He's gone to whack his man, to be fair, as Arnold. And,
I think he's copped a stinger, I think.
It looks that way, doesn't he? He's struggling to move, but there's not too many players left to come on, so Bullock's going to be reintroduced here, and he's just come off a big spell himself, so he's going to have to suck a bit of oxygen in and go again. And they're looking to play a little bit on Arnold here. They can tell he's in a bad way as Arnold goes to make the tackle.
He's actually, I'm going to say,
he's forced the ball loose.
Yeah.
So he's definitely coming off the field. The shoulders.
I think it's just a stinger that he's got. I think it'd be a shame for him to come off there, because he's stayed on there and he's forced that error. So just hopefully he can ride it out. And I've had a few of them in my time, and they're not nice. And I
think the physio's shaking his head, but I think Jack's fancying maybe just getting himself back in there.
Yeah, it's just a stinger, so he'll get the feeling back in his arm probably in about 3 days' time. But
he's had worse.
Yeah, he's had worse.
Hodgson with a nice fend, and
he's stinging it off now, hasn't he? And he's carrying on.
Harmon looks to drop off, feigns the pass. Kemp's come round the back and playing on the same side with him. Ferris back down the line, all a bit lateral here.
Yeah.
And Kemp just looking to try and force something. Lloyd Kemp, the fullback, on loan from Hull FC. Sneaks through the line. Broncos have to make the tackle. We're on the last. They'll be looking for a good end to the set here now, the Vikings. Kemp steps off that left foot, looks to go himself, kicking behind. Not the best, and it's been scooped up by Vorro. When we know Vorro's got some wheels, Staveley's chasing him. Shaw chasing as well. It's a good chase back from both those Vikings players. And the little drop off into Murray. He knew he'd be on the end of it. Shaw can't make the tackle. Ball out to Wallace. Wallace will farm it out to Tyndall. Tyndall will come forward, and a good tackle in the end from Shaw.
Yeah, good defence by us there.
Scrambled really well there, the Vikings. It's not over yet. Ball down the line. Meadows will take the tackle.
Great work by Jubb there.
And good work from the Vikings here. This is what I like to see.
When he broke through there, I thought there only one outcome, but we've scrambled really well, and we've got back in numbers now, and we've got us lined back together, and we've stopped a certain try there for sure. We'll be happy with that. We tag.
Come again. Hawkins out the back to Vorro. Vorro to Adebayo. Barley in there making the tackle. Kemp in there too. Meadows, big tall player for getting down low in there at 9. O'Byrne steps, looks to go himself. Another big half-back body. Good tackle at the line. Great defence. And that's good to see, isn't it, from the Vikings? And the home crowd react to that as well. They can see that they're a bit under the cosh here, but they're not throwing the towel in at 64 points to 10. And that's good to see. There's a bit of a scrap going on there too. So good on them. Fronting up for each other, which I like, and that's good to see. So O'Byrne will play the ball 10 metres out from the Vikings line. They move the ball right to Arvili. He sends the pass to Hawkins. Hawkins moving out right to that right edge. Davison coming onto that ball. And we'll come back across field now. He takes it himself. In fact, Meadows has met the brick wall of Jack Arnold there.
He's done well there.
Yeah, he's been busy, Jack. He's been putting himself about since coming on, fronting up a little bit. Arvili at 9, moves it right. Morea into the path of...
Stopped him again.
Davison, he's going to get that ball down.
Great defence again.
He thinks he's got it down.
Great defence again. 20 taps, said he's knocked on.
Great work from...
Great defence.
Hang on. The touch judge is onto the field. So what's he saying here?
I think it's a 20 tap, I think.
So there you go.
He's knocked on over the line. Yeah, great. Great defensive set there from us. They had more than one opportunity to score there, and we've scrambled really well for each other, so that's really pleasing.
Cooper Howlett takes this first carry then. The Australian. Working locally at a special needs school as well, which is good to see. He's been doing his bit in the local community. Big hit coming in from O'Byrne. Bit of slow play the ball there. You can get on with it, lads. Jubby Dummies at 9. Looks to go himself. Good tackle coming in once again from Meadows. He's put himself around a little bit since coming on too. It's been a good game. It's had a little bit of intensity. It's been tasty. Big hit on Harvey Horn. And he's turned around quickly there. He'll feel that one. Jubb again at 9. Former York man feeds it left to Jack Arnold. Nothing doing there, no one with him, so he's looking to go himself and find a gap, and he's looking for that offload. Bumps a couple of men off, and he's playing with a bit of energy. That's a knock on, should I say, off the London man. And Jack Arnold showing, this is what we were just saying, weren't we, how they were a little bit flatter 5 minutes ago. They've rallied a little bit in defence, giving themselves a little bit of belief and a chance in the round.
It's surprising how much confidence you can take from just a little passage of play like that, where people start working hard for each other, and it just gives you a bit of a spike in confidence and energy. And I think it's flattened London out again, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? We've sort of built our way back into the game. Obviously, the scoreline doesn't suggest that we can come back and win, but it's sort of stopped their run of tries that they were building up.
Barley with a little flick past to Shaw. A little bit of room for Shaw to get into. He just cuts back inside off that right foot. Defence came across and covered well for the Broncos. Barley moves it left to Callum Kemp. Kemp into Tyler Craig. Reintroduced to the field. The elder statesman recently played his 100th career game. He's not happy with that one. Cries of 6 again, but referee having none of it. Kemp, Staveley takes the ball through. And congratulations, by the way, from Tyler Craig, expecting the birth of his second child. That was the news that came along with his 100th appearance last week. So good on him, fair play. Good news for the Craig household. Always delivers, clearly. Nick Staveley spins out the tackle, crashes through the line. They're just testing the Broncos' defensive line here, which is good to see. Jubb will play the ball. He steps, goes himself, looks to bury his way over from close range. He thinks he's got it down, but he's just short. And Barley will wait and see where this one can go. The Broncos line has just been stretched a little bit, and can the Vikings capitalise? Kemp will go himself. He's looking for a gap. There's nothing doing there, so he nudges the kick in behind, but it's scooped up really well by Jimmy Meadows. He actually took that on the fall and on the run. It was he did well to cling hold of it, but you'd probably say, what's he from a Vikings perspective? Maybe looking for a better end to the set.
Yeah, I think we've had quite a lot of joy down this right-hand side. I think Conor Barley's looked dangerous every time he's had the ball. But yeah, it's that return play back to the other side. I think it's just breaking down in and around the middle. And like I said there, a couple of lead runners come through at the wrong time, and then the set sort of dropped to bits.
Penalty.
Yeah, poor. Again, you can't have a poor end to the set and then back it up with a penalty and invite him into our own half, which we need to be on song again defensively here to keep them out.
And that is the home side having to wrestle with that speed and tempo from the visiting team, although it does feel like the penalty count has been heavily in favour of the Broncos here this afternoon, but I guess that's somewhat par for the course as we approach the final 15 minutes or so of this match. Our clock is just slightly ahead on screen. If you are watching with us, wherever you are in the world, thank you for joining us. A 64-10 lead. It was a really close first half, particularly for the first 30 minutes, but since then pretty much one-way traffic as the Broncos have taken control, with Campbell Gillard, the former Australia international, just popping that ball out. Maria looking for a gap. To be fair, I'm about to probably curse us here a little bit, but the Vikings have done a reasonable job on the fullback. Voro feeds Adebayi, comes back off his left foot and crashes through the line. Staveley has to make the tackle. Meadows now looking, sniffing, hunting. O'Byrne, great tackle from Jalen Hodgson. Good line speed, gets out early, puts him to ground. Broncos on the last now. What have they got up the sleeve? Hawkins, a little nudge in behind. It's a good kick. Harmon's well placed, picks the ball up, and you have to say once again, good defensive set from the Vikings. We've
rallied really. To be fair, I think if he'd have tipped that ball onto Campbell Gillard there, he'd have strolled straight through again, but he showed and gold, and he put his hands up in the air to say, why didn't you pass me the ball? He would have walked into the sticks, but yeah, good defence by us, and hopefully we can have a good attacking set here and I'll finish with a good kick.
So they'll come again, and just mentioning Campbell Gillard, and there's been a lot of hype about him, and there's been a lot of talk this week about, a so-called superstar coming to Goole and so on, but he's played big minutes, mate. And the one thing you notice when you're close to the action like this, like you are in these smaller grounds, you realise just how big of an athlete, big man he is. Yeah, he's relatively lean as well for that big man, big powerful muscles in there. You can see that's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. He's got his hands on his hips at this moment in time.
You'd have took him on there, wouldn't you?
It'd have been a good challenge today for me personally. Yeah, I'm sort of glad I'm not out there today.
Saving you for some of the other games, I would think, later in this year. And got to rest up that body a little bit, Watsy, as well, haven't you? It's you're not the spring chicken anymore. We know that.
Yeah, no. I've not missed many games since I've started. So just rest me up and get ready for North Wales next week.
No, but you've been good value in the commentary box. I'm sure we could see you doing a lot more of this in the future. It should be good.
I'm happy to commentate them.
You should.
And stay up here with you.
Yeah, you should. There you go. Yeah. It's cheaper as well. But it's good to see some of the pros coming towards the back end of the career and having a go in the commentary box. And it'd be good to see some of the major broadcasts perhaps freshen those things up and give people like Liam a crack at it as Jubb comes again. And Hodgson, 6 again, signalled by the referees. Hodgson takes a carry forward. He's been an impressive performer this year. I can't believe the referee's going to let that as a play on. Surely, with 2 men in the tackle, that's been pulled out. Not had many breaks of the ball, have we, here this afternoon, the Vikings?
No, and that's what tends to happen is when you're going well and you're working hard for each other like London are, you tend to get them 50-50 calls, and they normally go with the better teams, and I think that's what's happened today. I think the 6 against the 50-50 bounces of the ball. I think London's had all of them calls today on the.
Yeah, very much so. As they come again, the Broncos. Meadows looks like a Viking himself, actually, with the long blonde locks and big beard. As the ball goes out to the right-hand side, it falls to ground, coming off the hands of Dean Hawkins there, central to everything. The 2 halfbacks have been very good, actually, for the Broncos today. They've been pretty much involved everywhere. They've got the ball player playing at 13. In fact, they've got 2 out there now with Harvey and Conor O'Byrne as well. So. Yeah, looking dangerous all the time. I think Cooper Howlett was just announced as the man of the match there as well this afternoon for the Vikings. That was picked by Jay Hartley, the match sponsors here today. We'll get Liam Watts' man of the match before full time as well for both sides. As Howlett there takes that first carry in himself. He charges forward to the line. And they come again. And it's Harvey Horn, Hull KR youngster. scored a hat-trick on his debut for the Robins early this year in a match against Loch Lane in the Challenge Cup, a team that our man Liam Watts knows pretty well, as Ferris offloads that ball. Jubb picks up and manages to gather hold of it before the Broncos on-running charge could fall on the loose ball, as Craig come forward, just trundles that ball in and makes it difficult to be put down. The Broncos try and slow it down, but the Vikings keep it going with Kemp. Kemp takes it into the line, digs in really well, does young Callum Kemp. Lloyd Kemp, his brother, twin brother of course, you can see the likeness. He'll just have to take that tackle. He's not had too much joy out the back in this second half. Had a little bit more room in that first period. We're on the last, into Arnold. He's not the man you want kicking on the last, but it's not a bad effort. He hoists it high.
It's quite funny, he didn't even look round to see him to pass it.
He just thought,
I'm having this. It's going straight up and under.
And then shock horror, a penalty is given. Offside on the chase from the Vikings. And once again, the pressure valve is released. And at the minute, the home side probably under a little bit of fatigue, just making life a little bit difficult for themselves. But they've had a go. You know, that's period from probably 10 minutes before half-time, and then the first 10-15 minutes of the second half is where really all the damage has been done. But as we head in the final 10 minutes of this game, you have to say the Vikings have really held their own and had a real dig, and perhaps on another day things could have gone for them. But as we said earlier, when you put it in context of a brand new club, a League One side, coming up against the big spending championship leaders, comparative to the Swinton and the North Wales Crusaders results we saw earlier in the year, you have to say in the context of that this is not a bad effort from the home side. But all credit where it's due to the Broncos. Been ruthless when they needed to be. They've executed, and you can see they're going to be the real deal this year in the championship, as Maria, looking lively, feeds the ball out to Tyndall on the wing. He steps, finds the big palm of that left hand, looking to find his way through the line, sniffing an opportunity, nothing doing, but he spins and finds the offload. O'Byrne will just tip that one on. Hussey Hord, I think it is over there, is it? And then Meadows will wait at dummy half. He moves the ball to left-hand side to O'Byrne. O'Byrne out the back to Vorro with that sort of almost a look of Jerome Luai really there, with the flowing hair and the scrum cap on. As Meadows comes again, 6 again the referee gives here. The pressure mounting now from the Broncos as Smith dives into the line. The ball goes to ground. He clutches hold of it and manages to slide over for the try. All of it scrappy in the end, but a try all the same, and you have to say he's deserved that. He picked one up in the first half, he's got another one now. He's been in fine form on that right edge for the Broncos. It's another try, and home and hose really here now, Watsy.
Yeah, they've definitely picked the tempo up, haven't they? If you look at that set there, what they've just gone through, they're throwing caution to the wind. They're going from side to side, and they're getting the outside edges. They're just turning back underneath, and they're really testing his middles out. Just a poor one-on-one read there, miss. He's gone for the slap down on the ball, and he's just tipped him on, and yeah, he's just more or less crawled his way to the line and got over. But I thought that set there, the outside backs for London there have really turned it on there, and they've come back challenging us middle. And they look like they're playing at a complete different tempo to what we're defending at. So it's
well, actually, I was just checking to see who the sponsors have gone for man of the match. The J.E. Hartley, the match sponsors, to get the honour. They've actually picked Connor Barley. So whether there was some miscommunication there, but I think that's probably deserved. Got himself a couple of tries.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to take it away from Cooper, but I think Connor, for me personally, he's probably been our man of the match. He's had some good touches with the ball. He's looked strong. And defensively he's put himself in good positions to save tries. So Connor would be my man of the match today if I were picking one.
Yeah, definitely echo that. And who's been the standouts for you for the Broncos this afternoon?
I think Matt Davis was definitely a big key figure in that first probably 50-60 minutes, and he's gone off. I think Regan Campbell-Gillard, he's had a few good touches, scored a good try and thingy, but I'd probably say Matt Davis has probably been the key player for me for London. And Stocklet come on from the bench. He's only played a short stint, but in that short stint that he did, he's probably set 2 tries up and scored one. So he did some damage.
And that's where you see that actually the calibre of those players, if you were to add 1 or 2 of those into this Viking side, you could see actually Goole being quite competitive, but you can see that this Broncos team is littered with quality across the park, threats wherever they are. and it's going to be a good year for them as they push for a place in Super League, as the inside ball feeds Hussey Horde. He's come crashing up the middle of the park trying to find a way through. Meadows has played a long stint, hasn't he, in that dummy half role. Hawkins just lifts this high to the right hand side. Neil Chombe looking to climb high to get it. He can't. Harmon looks to flick the ball on it, bounces off the London Broncos player, and the referee says that's fair game. Harmon's got it and then knocks the ball on as he comes to his feet, which that won't please Scott Taylor watching on below us.
Yeah, it's just they're the errors that we need to cut out as a team. There's too many of them in there. You don't give yourself any sort of chance to compete. Oh, he's reversed it. He's reversed the. He's gone with the first knock on.
So the first knock on.
Well,
yeah, that's a reasonable call.
Yeah.
Good call from the referee.
Yeah, he's reversed the call.
Bit of help from his touch judge. And,
but yeah, going back to the errors that we're making coming out of his own end, it's when you're trying to compete on a week-to-week basis, it's them sort of errors that are coach killers, and they're tough to get out of your game when you keep making the same errors. So it becomes a ritual where they just keep happening.
Certainly does, as Conor Barley comes forward after a big carry from Harvey Home. The one thing you can say about the Vikings backline today, they haven't shirked their work, have they, when they've needed to?
They never do, mate. Cooper's another great carrier of the ball. Shawty's a great carrier of the ball. Conor Barley's very strong, so his outside backs do a brilliant job.
Callum Shaw's been one of the standout players this year. For his Cooper Howard focus his name through, but he's sort of come of age a bit, Callum Shaw, this year, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Rather understated as a personality, but he's never let the team down wherever he's played, whether it's on the wing or at full-back, and can actually play at centre a little bit as well. Another player who came through the youth system at Hull FC that they have in the side here, alongside his former teammate there, and now a Vikings player, Macca Harmon, with the spiral bomber, a nasty one as well, and they don't manage to deal with that one. Neil Chombe, it bounces forward, and Luke Smith was well placed just to scoop that one up, Dean Hawkins, but that could have gone absolutely anywhere, as the Broncos now are having to come out of their own end, and it's all got a bit flat, and the line speed's there from the Vikings, so they're just fronting up here for this final few minutes. The clock on the screen just slightly ahead of the ground clock here, so we are into the final few minutes of this match, as the Vikings will just be looking to hold on, because at 70 points to 10, oh, there we go, right on cue. So we're stopping it. The hooter has sounded, and that is a victory for the London Broncos at 70 points to 10. Richly deserved, you have to say. They've been ruthless, they've executed, they've taken the chances, take nothing away from the Goole Vikings, who fronted up for large periods, and actually for 30 minutes of this match were leading. But the Broncos soon turned the screw. As Scott mentioned, a dynamic performance from Davis at 9 was really starting to do the damage. Stock came onto the field and had an impact. And for that period, from around about 30 minutes into the game, in the first 20 minutes of the second half, it was damage done as a ruthless Broncos came charging and scored a hatful of tries. But in the context of other performances this year, as we've said already in this afternoon's commentary, 100 points stacked up against Crusaders, 86 points stacked up against Swinton, the other two League One sides that the Broncos have faced so far this year. So in terms of that, you can claim the Vikings have given a good account of themselves. As for the Broncos, well, they go unbeaten again. 10 matches in a row it now stands in the Betfred Championship, and you're hard pushed to see a team that will be able to challenge them across the remainder of this season. Liam Watts has been summarising with us on Vikings TV this afternoon. Liam, give us your thoughts overall on that performance. First of all, the Vikings, what you made of them, and of course, yet another fantastic win for the Broncos.
I thought we started really well. We got into a good contest, and we really stuck it to them for that first 25 minutes, 30-minute mark, and then I think a bit of fatigue settled in, and they got a few breakaway tries. But I definitely thought that first 25 minutes is where we're wanting to be as a team, and if we can just play more parts in that section there, where we can put a bit of a game together, then we'll certainly be challenging teams on the weekly basis. But coming up against a team like London, you can't. The errors start to creep in. Then the back end of that first half, they scored 3 or 4 back-to-back tries, and then conceding early in the second half, start of the second half, which sort of, they had a 5-10 minute period there where they posted quite a lot of tries.
Just watching that period in that second half where the tries just came thick and fast, and the Vikings just struggled to front up defensively, and it was just sheer pace, momentum, fatigue kicking in for the home side. But as we said throughout this game, the Broncos just capitalising and taking the chances when they came, and at times having 4 and 5 ball-playing players in and around that middle of the field. Connor O'Byrne there in shot, and Dean Hawkins an inside ball into Harvey. They were the three that were 3 of the 5, really.
Yeah, I think it took them 30 minutes to get into the game and obviously turn up, and then once they realised that we were giving them a game, the sort of the message that had probably gone on is, look, now let's up the tempo and try and get some quick rucks. And when they did that on the back of it, the second phase stuff, it absolutely killed us. The offloads and the line breaks that they were doing, and there were times in that game where they could have probably scored from in their own 10 metres and really caused us some damage at times. But as an outlook, they look strong, don't they? They've got quite a good team. Unfortunately, it's who's going to test them in it, Clarke, for the rest of the year. And like I said, there's not many teams out there that's full time in this league. So
and spending what they're spending.
So if they want to come here today, and I think it'd be more disappointing for them not to put as many points on as what they have done. Like I said, that first 20-25 minutes, I thought we really stuck it to them as a game, but they're getting stuck in with the crowd and that. They're checking hands and they're getting involved, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's good, and it's been a good occasion for the town. When you get the big spenders coming down, Goole missed out on the opportunity to obviously host Warrington in the Challenge Cup earlier this year. They now get to obviously bring down these boys as well from London, some superstars, as you say, some international players. We've got half the Papua New Guinean national team, Campbell Gillard himself down there, which is great for these young kids, many of whom represent the junior Vikings teams and are out there on the field just having a quick kick about whilst they've got chance as well. As for the Vikings, the Broncos will kick on now. They'll want to go unbeaten for the rest of the season for Goole. They're going in search of their next big win. Next couple of weeks, watch some interesting ties. North Wales Crusaders up next at the Pleasure Grounds, although we're yet to see obviously if that match will go ahead with the troubles that are obviously going on there. And then over the next couple of weeks, we've also got the 1895 Cup match. And you mentioned it yourself earlier, that this team have this way about them of stepping up for the Cup matches and fronting up for those big games. So what are you looking for from the Vikings over the next 2 to 3 weeks?
I think if we turn up like we did doing that first 30 minutes, we'll challenge any team. It's just we've got to do that in bigger parts of the game, and I think games are really killing us in that middle third of the game, probably 10-15 minutes before and after half time. That's where we're conceding most of our points. So I'm sure for us and for Tag as the coach, that's something that we really need to look at and try and cut the points down that we're conceding in them parts of the game. So that middle third is a big area that we need to be better in.
And finally, a quick word from you. You back in next week?
Yeah, I'll be back in next week. It's my 400th game in it next week.
I think it might be, which is a fair achievement, isn't it? It's a fair old achievement. Let's just hope the Crusaders can actually get down here so you can celebrate that on home turf as well. And perhaps you're first in the commentary box and one of many more to come. So big thank you to our production
what
team.
You might be better off doing is putting a body cam on me, and I'll do the...
Just do that commentating whilst running around.
Yeah, do the commentating while I'm running around.
Yeah. Well, you've got to earn your money, won't you?
Yeah,
see, that could be new. Jamie's our production man, who stood next to us looking at us with a horrible face on, thinking, no, that's probably beyond us, is that one. But big thank you to Jamie, big thank you to everybody listening at home. Of course, our sponsors, Northern Retrofit, bringing you this game on Lounges TV. We hope to see Watsy back up here in the commentary box not too soon, because of course we want him back out on the field, but it's been good to have the former Challenge Cup winner